Right, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving deep into a country that's small in size, but, well, absolutely colossal in its global impact and complexity, Israel. For this deep dive, we've really dug through a ton of sources, everything from, big picture national overviews to specific historical and demographic data, so you can be sure you're getting a thoroughly researched look.
And what's truly fascinating here is how Israel, it's a relatively young nation, right? But steeped in such ancient history and constantly navigating these geopolitical tensions, it not only survives, but consistently innovates, thrives on the global stage. It's quite something.
Yep.
So our mission today is really to help you connect those layers, understanding its rich history, incredibly diverse society, that innovative economy, and the challenging contemporary issues it faces, all without feeling overwhelmed. It's sort of a compelling paradox we'll be exploring.
Definitely. So let's start by grounding ourselves in Israel's physical reality. You'll find it right there in the Middle East along the Eastern Mediterranean Sea. And despite its, outsized presence on the world stage, it's surprisingly compact, roughly 22,000 square kilometers.
Which, for context, is just slightly larger than the state of New Jersey in the U.S.
Right. Tiny on the map, comparatively.
But that small size immediately amplifies its geopolitical significance. I mean, think about it. Israel shares borders with Lebanon to the north, Syria to the northeast,
Jordan to the east,
and Egypt to the southwest. Each one, a historical flashpoint or a crucial strategic relationship. And then, of course, the Palestinian territories, the West Bank and Gaza are not just adjacent, but intrinsically woven into its geographical and political landscape. It's unavoidable.
And within those borders, you encounter some truly unique natural features that often surprise people. The Dead Sea, for instance.
Yeah.
It's literally the lowest point on Earth, with water so hypersaline you float effortlessly. It's kind of wild.
It really is.
Yeah.
But it isn't just a curiosity, right? Its unique geochemistry has paradoxically become this sort of high point for Israeli scientific research. You have biotech firms exploring everything from its mineral properties for cosmetics to extremophile organisms for new drug discoveries.
Wow, so even that harsh environment spurs innovation.
Exactly, cutting edge stuff. And this geographical diversity, it carves out stark climatic zones too. You get a classic Mediterranean climate along the coast, hot, dry summers, mild, rainy winters.
Pretty nice, mostly.
Yeah, but then it gives way pretty dramatically to the arid expanses of the Negev desert in the south.
Which covers, like 60% of the country?
About that, yeah. A huge portion.
And beyond those natural wonders, there's the freshwater Sea of Galilee, a place of immense biblical significance, obviously. And amidst these varied landscapes, what about the major urban centers you'd encounter?
Well, you have Jerusalem, recognized as the capital, holding just profound religious significance for Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. It's a city where, ancient stones tell millennia of stories, really palpable history.
You feel it there.
Absolutely. Then, just a short distance away on the coast, you have Tel Aviv. Completely different vibe. Vibrant, modern metropolis, a major global tech hub.
Yeah, the contrast is stark, isn't it? Within such a small country.
It really is. Fascinating.
That contrast really speaks to the layered history we're about to dive into. I mean, where do you even begin to unravel Israel's past? It's so deep.
Well, you have to begin with roots that stretch back thousands of years. Israel is fundamentally the birthplace of Judaism, maybe 3,000 years ago. And it's the setting for the rule of biblical kings like David and Solomon. That foundational period, it laid the groundwork for, a continuous narrative in this land.
Right. And from there, the historical layers just keep building, sometimes quite dramatically, as you said. After the ancient kingdoms, you see this succession of external powers taking over. It's conquered by the Romans in 70 CE, followed by the Byzantines, then Arab rule, Crusader kingdoms.
And finally, the Ottoman Empire, which controlled the region for centuries. It's a profound story of, resilience and enduring connection to the place.
Absolutely.
And this brings us then to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a really pivotal period with the rise of Zionism, the movement for Jewish self-determination. This led to increased Jewish immigration, especially under British control, during what was known as the British Mandate.
Setting the stage.
Exactly. Laid the immediate groundwork for modern statehood.
And then came that seismic shift in 1948. Israel declared statehood. But this wasn't met with universal acceptance, was it?
Not at all. An immediate Arab-Israeli war ensued, fundamentally shaping the region and its future trajectory. Conflict from day one, really.
Right. And the modern state has been significantly shaped by key conflicts that followed that initial war. The Six-Day War in 1967, for example, that's when Israel captured the West Bank, Gaza, Golan Heights, and Sinai.
A huge territorial change. And then a few years later, in 1973, the Yom Kippur War, a surprise attack by Arab states. Each conflict left, an indelible mark on the nation's psyche and its borders.
But the story isn't just about conflict. It also includes these, sometimes surprising, pursuits of peace. Israel signed peace treaties with Egypt in 1979.
A landmark moment.
And with Jordan in 1994. And more recently, in 2020, we saw the Abraham Accords.
Right. Establishing relations with several Arab states, Bahrain, UAE, Morocco, Sudan. A significant shift in regional diplomacy, definitely.
Still unfolding, really.
Still unfolding. And of course, we must discuss the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Our sources, they highlight complex disputes over borders, settlements, the status of Jerusalem, refugees, and the persistent stalemate in the peace process, including things like the blockade on Gaza.
Yes, complex doesn't even begin to cover it.
It doesn't. And just to be clear, we're relaying the historical facts and current situations as presented in the source material we reviewed. We want to ensure you understand the multiple perspectives involved without us endorsing any particular viewpoint. That's crucial here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift from the land and its deeply etched history to the people who inhabit it, a truly fascinating mosaic of cultures. As of 2024, Israel's population stands at approximately 9.5 million.
And that population breaks down into this really rich ethnic composition. About 74% are Jewish people. But, and this is important, this isn't a single group. It includes incredibly diverse communities like Ashkenazi from Central and Eastern Europe, Sephardic with roots in the Iberian Peninsula, Mizrahi from Middle Eastern and North African lands, alongside Ethiopian Jews who have their own unique history. It's a real ingathering.
Yeah.
Then about 21% are Arab people, mostly Muslim, but also with significant Christian and Druze minorities who have distinct identities.
And the remaining 5%.
That's classified as others, comprising various immigrants, non-Arab Christians, and other non-Jewish residents. So, very diverse.
With such diversity, you can imagine the blend of languages. Hebrew is the official language.
Right.
But Arabic is also widely spoken, has special status, and English serves as a crucial third language, right? Bridging many communities used in tech, academia.
Very widely used, yes.
Yeah.
As for religion, Judaism is the majority, obviously, but Islam, Christianity, the Druze faith, and even Baha'i communities also thrive there. It creates this remarkable spiritual landscape side by side.
Mm-hmm.
Now, our sources also touch upon some of the social divisions within this vibrant society.
Yeah.
It's not all harmonious. You see tensions, for instance, between secular and ultra-Orthodox Jews over lifestyle and state influence.
That's a major internal dynamic.
It is. And also, of course, Jewish-Arab tensions related to the conflict and civil rights. These are integral parts of the country's complex societal fabric. They reflect various viewpoints and ways of life within the nation. What really stands out to you about this incredibly rich cultural tapestry?
Well, for me, it's how this incredible diversity isn't just demographic. It visibly shapes daily life. The food.
Oh, the food is amazing.
The cuisine is famous globally. Think hummus, falafel, shawarma, that fresh Israeli salad, all of which really highlight regional influences.
Definitely. And you'll also encounter kosher food laws that are central for many observant Jews.
Right, and the music and art scene seems incredibly vibrant. From traditional klezmer with its Eastern European Jewish folk roots and Mizrahi music, drawing from Middle Eastern sounds, to Israel's notable success in Eurovision, believe it or not.
They take Eurovision very seriously. It's a true fusion, as you said.
Really is.
And the calendar is marked by significant holidays that reflect this cultural richness, too. You have the Jewish holidays like Passover, Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, Hanukkah.
Very important days.
Absolutely central.
Yeah.
But also national holidays such as Independence Day, Yom Ha'atzmaut, which is a big celebration, and Holocaust Remembrance Day, Yom HaShoah, which holds profound national significance. A very solemn day.
Okay, now let's turn our attention to how this nation is organized and how it functions. Israel operates as a parliamentary democracy.
That's correct.
It has a 120-seat parliament known as the Knesset. That's the legislative body where laws are debated and passed, often with very lively debate.
Extremely lively, yes. Coalition politics are the norm. The prime minister, like Benjamin Netanyahu currently, serves as the head of government, holding the real executive power.
And there's also a president, currently Isaac Herzog.
Yes, but the president holds a more ceremonial role. Head of state, unifying figure, but not involved in day-to-day governing like the PM.
Got it. And it's important to note, as you touched on with Jerusalem.
Right, the capital status.
Right.
While Israel designates Jerusalem as its capital and its government is there, its status is disputed internationally. Most countries maintain their embassies in Tel Aviv, recognizing it as the diplomatic capital. It reflects those ongoing political complexities.
Understood. And here's where it gets really fascinating, I think. Israel's military, the Israel Defense Forces, or IDF, it has mandatory conscription for most Jewish and Druze citizens, men and women. A period of military service is compulsory for most young Israelis.
Yes, it's a fundamental part of Israeli life for many.
But this isn't just about defense, is it? It's also often cited as a key driver, maybe the key driver, of the startup nation phenomenon. How does that work?
Well, absolutely. The IDF, especially its elite intelligence and tech units like Unit 8200, acts as a massive incubator. Young people, often just 18, 19, 20 years old, gain incredibly advanced technical skills. They learn to lead complex projects under intense pressure, and they build these incredibly strong networks.
Trial by fire, almost.
Pretty much. When they leave the military, they often carry that mission-driven, problem-solving mindset and those connections right into the startup world. It creates this unique pipeline for innovation that you don't see many other places.
That makes a lot of sense. Economically, Israel is a significant player then, despite its size. A GDP of approximately $520 billion as of 2024.
Around that figure, yes. And its currency is the Israeli shekel, the ILS.
So it's not just about military service, but also about building this high-tech workforce.
Right.
This truly explains how such a small nation becomes a global tech powerhouse, often dubbed the startup nation.
Exactly. Technology is just a paramount sector. A strong focus on cybersecurity. There are world leaders. There are artificial intelligence, biotech, fintech.
A lot of R&D investment.
Huge amounts, proportionally. But beyond tech, other major economic sectors are impressive too. Advanced agriculture is a highlight, particularly noted for innovative drip farming technology, which is absolutely crucial in an arid region facing water scarcity. They've exported that tech globally.
Making the desert bloom, quite literally.
In some ways, yes. And the country is also a significant exporter of polished diamonds and pharmaceuticals, showcasing a diverse industrial base beyond just software.
Of course, like any nation, Israel faces economic challenges. Our sources mention things like a high cost of living, especially housing.
Definitely a major issue.
And issues of inequality, disparities between the tech sector and other parts of the economy, and between different social groups, even amidst all that innovation.
Yes, those internal economic pressures are very real. Which brings us to the contemporary crossroads, these ongoing challenges and connections. Let's revisit the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, drawing specifically from our sources again. This includes elements like the expansion of settlements in the West Bank, the blockade on Gaza,
Which has huge humanitarian implications.
indeed, and the persistent stalemate in the peace process. As we stressed earlier, we are presenting these complex issues as they are described in the source material. The goal is for you to understand the varying perspectives and the facts on the ground without us endorsing any particular viewpoint.
Crucial point. Beyond that specific conflict, Israel faces other critical security concerns that shape its strategic outlook, right? Things like Iran's nuclear program, which Israel views as an existential threat.
Absolutely paramount in their security thinking. And the presence of groups like Hezbollah on its northern border in Lebanon and Hamas controlling Gaza to the southwest, these are ongoing, active threats that constantly impact daily life and national policy.
And how does it navigate this globally in terms of relations?
Well, Israel maintains very close ties with the U.S. That's its primary strategic alliance. But our sources also highlight those warming relations with several Arab states through the recent Abraham Accords.
Which is a fascinating development.
It really is. It continues to reshape the regional dynamic, creating new alliances and potentially new tensions, too. It's a fluid situation.
So what does this all mean for you, for our listeners, someone looking to be well-informed? Our sources really emphasize why Israel offers such a unique lens through which to understand global issues. It's this incredible combination of ancient history and deep religious significance, coupled with truly groundbreaking innovation happening amidst ongoing intense conflict. and an identity forged from just incredible diversity. It's like a living case study of so many global trends and tensions.
Exactly. It connects all these threads together, making Israel a really compelling example of a nation where ancient heritage, cutting-edge technology, and profound societal diversity intersect with ongoing geopolitical complexities that continue to shape its present and its future. It's a place where, you could argue, necessity has truly been the mother of invention, forging resilience and a forward-looking spirit out of deep historical roots and constant pressure.
And that wraps up our deep dive into Israel for today. We've covered a tremendous breadth of information, hopefully revealing a truly multifaceted nation beyond the headlines.
And maybe this brings us back to that compelling paradox we mentioned at the start. It raises an important question for you to mull over. How does a relatively young nation-state, formally established in 1948, but steeped in such ancient history and navigating these continuous, intense geopolitical tensions, how does it consistently manage not just to survive, but to innovate and often thrive on the global stage?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with. We encourage you to continue your own exploration of these topics, armed with this foundational knowledge from our deep dive today.